What's up, people? My name's Jack. Welcome back. Today, we're talking about why working for yourself is better or worse. And I'm pretty much going to be ticking off a whole bunch of different points in either direction. And it's basically up to you to take a couple notes and decipher and decide actually for yourself whether working for yourself is better or working for somebody else is better. Overall, I'm Jack, 21-year-old freelancer and entrepreneur overall. Freelancer is the main sort of stuff. Entrepreneur, working on a couple things on the side. And essentially, I've worked for myself more or less my entire life. There's 3 days that I worked in a coffee shop. The curator was the coffee shop, and it was a good 3 days. Overall, they could tell it wasn't really for me. They stopped inviting me, and they never even formally fired me. They just took me off the register. Worse than being formally fired, probably, because they're like, fuck this kid. We're not even gonna tell him that he's not even coming in anymore. We're just gonna fucking leave him in limbo. And that's my working experience. So, working for yourself on the screen, let's tick off a couple things. Is it better or worse? Right? Let's break down working for yourself first, because that's the one that I know. First off, you create your own schedule. It's 9 in the morning right now, and I wake up just out of pure habit of waking up early. I could easily wake up at 9 p.m. and be recording this video as well. So, well, I got boxing. I got to go box at 12. So at the end of the day, I did have to wake up early today. But the only thing that creates my schedule is other things. Work doesn't create my schedule. Maybe if I have to get on a call or something like that, right? Maybe if I have to get on a call with somebody, I'll wake up early. But oftentimes, I'm freelancing. I'm doing stuff on the internet. I'm in England. Most of my people are in America. So my calls are later in the day anyways, right? So you create your own schedule 100%. It's basically up to you when you wake up, all that type of stuff. You have no boss and no cap to your earning potential. Those two are huge on their own because I could make as much as I want. A year ago, when I filed my taxes last year, right? It was half what I filed this year. We told you what I made. I'll be real, like 40 grand. You know what I mean? That's what it is. I work for myself. But next year, you think I'll make the same? Personally, I don't. Every year, I keep making more and more and more because momentum starts building. And I don't know. That's just the way the world works. Year 1, it's slow. Year 2 is a little bit faster. Year 3, you're off to the fucking races if you've done it right. Seems like that's the way it's going for me. All right? I'm just speaking from experience. So, no cap to your earning potential, no boss. A boss sucks. Now, I deal with freelance clients, so I've got a half boss, right? Jack, I need, at 2 minutes and 42 seconds, put the text a little bit to the right. That's a boss move right there. They're telling me what to do, right, at the end of the day. But I've gotten myself into that. It's project by project. And remember, I'm exploring working for yourself from a freelance perspective, right? So working for yourself, no boss, no earning cap. You can make as much. I made half as much last year, about 20, 25 grand, something like that. This year jumped up to about 40. That's what was on my tax returns. All right, that's all I made. Projects have exciting potential. This is huge. Omar, client I just wrapped up some fashion stuff for before Corona hit, calls me up one day, Jack, I love this. Next shoot, we're going to Moscow. Now, luck hit and fucking, you know what I mean, right? Corona happened and the Moscow trip didn't play out, all right? Will it when Corona goes away? Potentially, 100%. If my man didn't go broke and he's still trying to pursue that venture, haven't actually heard from the guy in a couple weeks. It is what it is, right? Maybe he went broke, I don't know. But the exciting potential, right? I've had lots of different clients, bring me places or, go down here. I'm getting sent down to, different parts of the country in England, just shooting clubs, right? Filming clubs, working for myself. I've been all over, right? I've been fucking London, Manchester, fucking here, there, up, down, left, right. I've been all over. So there's exciting potential where you're being sent around a bunch. You're moving around. Like a client calls me and says, Jack, next shoot, we're going to Moscow. You know what I mean? That one didn't play out. It is what it is. So there's lots of different exciting potential. And overall, in a normal job, you wake up, you turn up, you work, and then you go home, you do the same thing every single day, same more or less thing, right? Overall, there's not much exciting shit going on left, right, center. There's not much cool, different shit going on a daily basis. For me, there definitely is. And, it's not all the time, but more than when you're at a job. At the end of the day, jobs send you places sometimes too, but you got to have a cool job for them to really be on board about sending you to fucking Moscow or whatever, right? Drinking vodka with Putin is not usually one of the allowable expenses that the company send you away and pay for, right? But worse, you have to get all the work for yourself, all the responsibilities on you. These 2 points are huge based on the fact that you have to get all the work for yourself. JackCole, if I have no work today, that's my problem, right? I'm going to be broke and then, I'm going to have to start putting shit on the credit card and it ain't gonna work out too great, right? So all the responsibilities on me. Now, this is where the types of traits that make you a good worker or a good boss come in a little bit later, and that's gonna be on a future slide, all right? So we're gonna get to that in a second, but overall, you have to get all the work for yourself, right? I have to go source every project. Now, a beautiful thing happens where when you do a good job for a couple years, all of a sudden, people start coming back to you, right? Hey, Jack, I got another project, or boom, boom, boom. Or you do real good work, all of a sudden, you get calls from new people. They say, oh yeah, Chris recommended me. You know, that's literally a live message in my WhatsApp right now. Chris told me you did some great work. I saw the work you did for him. I've got work for you as well. Phenomenal. So you start getting this momentum, this sort of stuff. So it gets a little bit easier, but right away in the first early stages, that first year, 2 years, you have to be extremely, extremely proactive about building up that track record. The track record and the momentum starts working for you later on. Like I said, all of a sudden, Chris recommends you. You didn't even know Chris was talking about you, and out there, you're being recommended and work's coming to you. So later down the road, it gets a little bit easier, but overall in the first stages, you have to get all the work for yourself. You have to have all the responsibility on you. Now, for me, never in my life have I ever looked to somebody else to be responsible for me. So that was an absolute default baseline. That's how I looked at everything anyways. So that was very intuitive to me. Never in my life have I looked for somebody else to put me on. I've always been the guy with the thing that I brought my friends into. You know, I've always been the leader. I've always more or less had the fucking vision. So you have to get all the work for yourself. That's basically my fucking default. All right. That's basically my default. So no paid sick days. Technically not true. 2 seconds. I'm getting my fucking shit's getting blown up, bro. It is what it is. My phone's going crazy. So overall, no paid sick days, right? Kind of true, kind of not. There's one way that my sick days are kind of paid, which is the fact that I have a YouTube channel going on in the background. YouTube's a more passive income stream, which means that if I don't work today, my catalog of content still generates money and I still make money. Bada bing, bada boom, wonderful. However, when you work for yourself exclusively and you don't have something like a fucking passive income stream going on in the background, essentially, no paid sick days. Basically, no paid sick days. If you are sick, you're not getting paid today. Whereas if you work for somebody, you know what I mean? If you work for somebody, basically, you can take a paid sick day and you can make your, 80, 100 for the day or whatever. They pay you just to stay at home, be sick, based on the fact that you have a certain amount of allocated days to be sick, whatever. All right? And then the thing we've already said is that you always have a cap on your earning potential. People working at a job rarely double their income year on year unless you're some high-level executive that's overall provided such massive value to the company that they've layered in bonuses in your contract. I don't know. That's whole hypothesis. I've never been involved in a situation like that. I have steadily increased my income every single year based on the fact that I have no cap on my earning potential. So that's huge to me, right? I will keep making more and more and more and more and more and more and more forever, every single year. That's obviously how I foresee it. Maybe I'm naive. Personally, I believe in myself to the point that I know every year with momentum, I'm just going to keep making more and more and more and more money. Keep balling. At the end of the day, we're going to the top. Only way is up. Don't listen to me. Just watch what happens. Anyways, next thing, right? Work in a job. Sense of security, paid sick days, less responsibility. Let's start with the top. Sense of security. 100%. You have a sense of security where you don't have to get all the work yourself. People are providing projects. All you realistically have to do, you could be hungover, whatever. You just turn up and they put the work in front of you. All right, we need that done today. And yes, you have to do some shit that maybe you don't want to do, whatever, but you got a sense of security. You never had to, do all the stuff yourself overall. It basically hands itself to you. All right. Paid sick days. We covered that. You're obviously getting paid if you want to, take sick days, less responsibility, working alongside colleagues. Now, funny enough, I put working alongside colleagues in both, and I'll break that down. Now, working alongside colleagues is fun because it makes stuff go a little bit quicker, it makes stuff easier. However, a lot of people hate their colleagues, right? That could be a worse as well, right? You might be working with some idiot who's just talking nonsense or whatever, right? Or, you know what I mean? You might have a good team and, it's a great environment. You're motivating each other. So having colleagues could be a benefit or a subtractor of your enjoyment of the workplace. Now, I know working joint projects have been a huge enjoyment to me. My boy Noah, we started TQ9 Media together. When I started filming clubs, the first 30 clubs or something like that for the whole of 2017, nonstop, every single Saturday rather, me and Noah were in the club filming a different club all across England. And overall, that would have been less fun if I was by myself, 100%. So colleagues, people that you're working alongside is 100% something that's going to provide more enjoyment of that situation to you. It is what it is. Or You're stuck in a shitty job next to a cubicle, next to fucking Harold or whatever, and this guy will not shut up. He's on a totally different space. Maybe he's getting coked up in the nights. He's coming in, he hasn't even slept, and he's wanted to talk to you about his problems. Harold can get the fuck out of here, all right? So, you know what I mean? Essentially, working alongside colleagues is a major plus or a major not plus, right? So overall, working for yourself, in my experience, has been more fun. Now, there's pieces of the working a job that I want to take, though, like working alongside colleagues, and the cap on your potential, way less freedom. You have to turn up every day, right? So if, you know what I mean, the way less freedom, I can make my schedule up. Say something happens, right? I got to go to something today. I could drop everything that I've planned to do today, and believe me, I have planned a fair bit, and go and do that right now. No stress. No one else has to, I don't have to, get it confirmed by anybody. None of that nonsense. I get called. There's a better motive for today or something that's more important. Drop everything, I go do it. You have less freedom if you're working a job. You can't be at the office, get called, and be like, yo, come here, bro. It's kicking off. You're like, oh, sweet. Yeah, it's a nice sunny day. I'm going to come out there. You know what I mean? You're not going to tell your boss, listen, I'm going to fucking hang out in the field, bro, because I ain't having a blast here. It's just not going to happen. So not only can you never make more than, or never really, you don't have exponential growth to your income. Also, you have way less freedom where you can't just make your schedule up, right? To me, I'm out, right? I believe I can make infinite money, shitloads of money, and also I need my freedom overall. The reason I want to have all the money is because freedom, having loads of money gives you loads of freedom. That's more or less my desire and my fascination with being rich from a very young age, right? Is you have loads of money, you have loads of freedom. So those two more or less correlate, right? Now, types of individuals, boss traits, just a couple things like that, stuff that I've noticed in me that really sort of made me be good to be a fucking self-employed person. These are two things that have always been part of me, right? I've always had a side hustle, and I've always been self-motivated, right? And those two traits alone, if you've noticed that in yourself, you're probably a self-employed person, and you should probably get cracking with that, because if you've always had a little something you're working on the side, you're selling some stuff on eBay, you're going here, you're doing this, maybe you're selling sweets in school, obviously, right? I got to England when I was 12 years old. Boom, I started selling Lego on the internet, on eBay, and I started selling sweets in school. Then I started selling weed. Then I started selling other illicit substances. Then I started selling videos on the internet. I was selling graphics to people when I was 13, whatever, right? So I've always had a side hustle. I literally could, if I sat here and tried to list them all, I'd probably be here for the rest of the day listing random little shit that worked or didn't work, right? So I've always had something I've been working on. I've always had a side hustle. You could have looked at me as a kid and be like, yeah, that kid's probably going to go do some shit for himself. It was pretty obvious. There were signs. And a big trait of that is self-motivation. I've always been self-motivated. I've never thought that somebody else was going to go put me in a position. Literally never even crossed my mind. In fact, it was the opposite. I figured people would try to take my position, if anything, and I had to go create it for myself. So self-motivated, I've always looked for that. Now, worker traits. If you're really good at school, I really wasn't good at school. Now, there's a caveat to that. If you had really strict parents and you did the school to appease the parents, maybe you still had the side hustle and stuff like that. Maybe you're a boss as well, and you just, you're doing some boss move shit and just appeasing the parents. Maybe I had a super strict parent, whatever the case may be. And if you prefer being part of a team, that's more of a worker trait as well. For me, I've always preferred being the leader of the team. If I've been a part of a team, I've always been a big voice in that team. I've always more or less been a motivating factor and wind. I've been the fucking wind. I've been pushing that shit in a certain direction. And that's just, I really can't help it. That's just me, and I have a vision for stuff, and that's it. And I've always sort of gravitated or elevated, if you will, to that position of more or less the vision and the lead of the team. So I've always been more of naturally a go-getter. Let's make some stuff happen myself. I'm doing something. You see me doing something. Oh, Jack, could I get involved? Yeah, sure. Come along. Come get involved in what I'm already doing, right? So to me, very obvious, 1,000%. I was always set up to work for myself. I was always set up to be a boss, whatever the case may be. That's just, to be honest, that's kind of a cheesy word, boss and worker. I wrote it down quick. I'm really not trying to fucking put too much craziness. You could see I wrote this presentation very quick just to give me talking points throughout the video. Boss, swap out boss with whatever you want. I realize maybe that's insulting. I don't even know. Anyways, no, it's not. Fuck a boss, bro. You know how much fucking problems a boss has, bro? More problems than you, that's for sure. So fuck a boss. They're fucked. Anyways, easily find out which one's for you. Here's a quick trial run you can do. Work as a freelancer for a couple weeks. That's what I suggest you guys to do. If you're not sure, you think to yourself, man, I don't know. Do I work for myself? Do I not? The internet has made this shit extremely easy. You could, without ever having to go out on your own or register a company or do anything nonsense, right? You can absolutely easily work as a freelancer for a couple weeks. If you enjoy it, the self-employed lifestyle is for you. If not, you might want to get involved with a group or a company. Literally ideal. Now, maybe the self-employed thing works out perfectly for you. You freelance for a couple weeks, and I'll break down in a second how to freelance, right? Just in case you weren't aware. But you freelance for a couple weeks. Overall, you like it. You're like, oh, I really like this. You know, I'm enjoying this. You know, I'm waking up. I'm creating my own schedule, whatever the case may be. You create your own environment as well. So when you're working for a job, you have to go to the office. When you're working for yourself, I go anywhere today. I work here because it's kind of rainy, or it's sunny. I go to a cafe. You know what I mean? I go to a rooftop garden. You know, I do what, I do whatever I want, basically. All right. So boom, do whatever you want. Overall, that's the trial. Work as a freelancer for a couple of weeks. If you enjoy it, boom, self-employed life for you. If you don't, no sweat. And that's it, basically. How do you work as a freelancer? I'm going to leave a bunch of videos down below breaking down Upwork, breaking down a couple of other stuff. That's been an extensive, massive topic on my channel here. And I encourage you guys to go check it out. So link in the description to a whole bunch of videos breaking down Upwork, breaking down how to get into the freelance game. Also, I'll leave a video breaking down how do you get into the freelance game if you have no past work, because I understand a lot of you guys are coming from this at different perspectives, different entry points, if you will. But overall, guys, my name's been Jack. If you enjoyed the video and you're not following Creator Dashboard, follow it. This is my ultimate, basically, community hub for creators. Check it out. If it's for you, click the follow button. If it's not, no sweat. I'll expect your resignation on Monday. Motherfucker, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I lose my mind after talking for too long, so I'm out. Thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. Peace out. That was a lazy peace. See you later.